Are you still struggling to get your curl formers to make good-looking curls? Let me show you how to fix that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you didn't know, now you know. And today, in this video, I'm going to show you the critical mistakes you're making when using your curl formers and how to get them to actually work. The first and biggest mistake that I see people making is the hair. You need wet hair. Too many people put these in dry hair, wait a little while and hope for the best, but the whole point is for your hair to dry in the shape. So if it's not wet, you're not going to get that result. The second biggest mistake is you need a curl retention product. This is the one that I'm going to use. You can use whichever one you like, but I like this one. I'm going to take about 2 pumps, this much, smear it in my hands, and then starting on the length, start rubbing it through. We're going to work our way up to the top and get it spread evenly, but the most important part is the part that's actually going to be curled, and that's the length. Once you have that done, it's time to section. You're going to need some clips and a brush. Now for me, I find the more sections you make, the easier this is. You can make your sections a little bit bigger and then section them off even smaller as you get through them, but I have a grid pattern that I like pretty well, and it starts with 2 on top, and those I tend to break down into smaller sections, and then I go in rows down the sides. So let me show you. Okay, so these are the sections I like to do, and I'm leaving this out because this is where we're going to start. So for that section, I have these 3 small ones. My hair is the shortest here, and so this is an appropriate length. You want to try and have a curler that is long enough to contain your hair, because if you have hair that hangs out the end, that part's not going to get curled. So you might have a curl down to here and then just straight hair. That's not really my favorite look, but if you're into it, you can do that. Take your hook, put your former on it. Don't pull it down too much. You want it to be as close to up here as possible so that it's easier when it's time to pull this off. Then you want to get a section of hair, and this is where another critical mistake happens, is getting too much. The more hair you have here, the harder it is to slide through this hook and the longer it takes to dry. This is already the slowest part of the process, waiting for it to dry, so don't make it harder than it has to be. As you can see, I do have a little bit that sticks out, but it's not too much. I can live with that. And then I have enough hair back here for 2 more sections like that. I recommend using a mirror because you can't see the back of your head, and doing it by feel is how you're going to do it, but it's hard, so being able to check helps. Use your brush to make sure you're staying tangle-free and keeping your hairs straight. If they bunch up inside of here, it may cause your hook to snag, and then it hurts and you can't pull it through. Hold your former up near the neck and then just pull that through. Now we're going to switch to a little bit longer for these next 2 sections. So I'm just going to make a pass to make sure there's no tangles in here. And we're going to start in the back and work our way forward. You can use your clip to hold your extra hairs out of your way. This helps you be able to look back there. Twist, twist, twist to get that nice and tight and contained, so when you have to put it in the hook, you're not having to capture a bunch of hairs. Slide it up. I like to hold mine like this to make sure that I've got it, so that I can move my other hand down here to get a hold of this and then pull that through. So as you can see, I don't have too much hanging out. This is a good length for this area. The colors often indicate they go a different direction. Natural curls do not go all the same direction. So I like to alternate the colors as I go so that we're alternating the direction of the curl. That row is done. We'll move to this side. Now we're going to do the same thing on this row. This one has a lot of hair hanging out. I'm not real happy about that, but I would have to switch to a longer former to do something about it. Hopefully, with it just being this section, it'll still blend a little bit. Hopefully, it'll also help kind of curl up on its own when I shove it in this bonnet that I use to contain them while they dry. Alright, that is done. Now it's time to switch to the really long ones. These get harder to work with. The longer they are, the harder they are to manage, but we're gonna do it. When you pull this one down, the whole stick could get lost in here. So you kind of have to scrunch this one a little bit in order to give yourself enough handle to hang on to. Now I have a giant section back here. So I'm gonna section that into 2 sections, and then we will further break those 2 sections down into the strips that we're going to be using. First, let's detangle a little bit. If you're moving kind of slow and your hair dries while you're doing this, just use a spray bottle to re-wet it. It really does have to be wet. I'm gonna move that section forward, and we're gonna start with this piece here. I'm going to break it into 2. I find this part of the head also the hardest part to work on just because of the angle to access. It's really important with this one that you hold your hair in place while you're moving your hands around, because this is the most notorious part to snag when you're trying to pull that through. And then make sure that your wave former actually goes ahead and curls like it's supposed to. There we go. All right, now this piece I'm going to break into 3 strips. Get it tight up here so that you don't risk getting too much of it caught up in this hook. You want it to be as neat and sleek in there as possible. All right, it's time to move to the top bit, and arguably the most important section. So this one, you're going to want to pay extra attention and to do everything you can to make sure that these come out good, because this is the part everybody's going to be seeing. This is the part that's going to cover everything else. And so I have a pretty big section here, and we're going to just kind of work through it row by row. So I'm going to separate some off. We're going to capture this in the clip so it's out of our way. I'm going to separate this into 2 pieces. Make sure you brush it in the direction you're planning on pulling. Now you see this could potentially become a problem because it's not close with the other, and if you don't get that inside of the hook too, it's 100% gonna snag. So I'm gonna try and tighten this very, very well to make sure that that is included in there. And I'm gonna look as I'm hooking this and get it above that and then pull it down while I keep it tight. So that is still inside of there. All right. And then I'm going to grab a hold of this and pull it through. So that one is included. Okay, now this front section, I'm going to break it into 3 pieces as well. We're going to do 1, 2, and then this will be over here. Now where you put your divides, you do not have to be married to. It is not a commitment. When we take our hair down and we're situating the curls where we like them, we are able to flip them around to whichever side it looks better. You can even separate them. The only thing I wouldn't recommend with separating is don't run your fingers through it, because the more you separate, the more fluffy it will become. I would say separate with intention. So I'm annoyed. You guys may notice something's different. My recording just turned off before I finished this front. At least you saw most of it. But what I was saying is this front section is the most important section, and where you want to be the most careful and make sure you get it in there as smoothly and cleanly as possible, because that's the part that everybody's going to see. It's going to be on top. And I like to make sure mine are sitting to where they go with the direction. If this is flipped backwards and folded, it will dry with that wrinkle in your hair, and you're already going to have wrinkles from where it's tight. I also use the bonnet to contain these. You can leave them out, but then they're like flicking everywhere and all in your face, and I don't prefer it. This part takes a few hours. You can put them in at night and sleep with them, and then when you wake up in the morning, your hair is dry and you can take it out. Or you can put it in the morning, do whatever you do all day. I like to do it while I'm at work. I work from home, super convenient. And then when I get off work, I can take it out and my hair is done. But whatever it is, you're gonna need a few hours. If you take these out too soon, your hair is still wet and those curls are not gonna be there. They're just gonna straighten right on out because it's just still wet hair. So you need sufficient amount. I would say if you've got a very little amount of hair, you could probably get it dry in 2 or 3 hours. I need like 5 or 6 hours for how much hair I have, and I have thin, fine hair. So give it a good amount of time. Let's jump to when it's time to take them out. All right, it's been 6 or 7 hours since we put these in, and it's time to take them out and see the rest of the process. So let's free my curls. Oh, that's such a relief. You know, they're not heavy, but together it just adds such weight that it feels so good to get it off. And once these are out, it's gonna feel even better. I usually start at the bottom to start pulling them out, and try to hook your finger in it like this to pull them out. That way you're not stretching them. We don't want to frizz our hair up more than absolutely necessary. Now let's get these big ones out. Okay, they are out, and let me tell you, it doesn't always feel great to pull them out. Now, this is obviously not it. So what I do is I take my fingers and like massage my scalp. And so this helps to break those parts up and blend all those hairs back together. And also it feels really good to get the circulation back into your scalp because it was tight. You know how when you've got a ponytail in all day and then you take it out and it's that pain, but it's relief? It's kind of like that. Oh, yes. All right. And then I run my hands through it and just kind of gently pull to find any loose hairs that we may have. I'm going to take some serum. This is the one that I use, but you can use whatever you want. Put a little bit in my hand. It's in a pump bottle, I know, but it's running low. And then I'm just going to run this over the curls because they do get a little bit frizzy when you pull that thing out. So let's just get some of that worked in there just to smooth everything out a little bit. now we can work on placing these curls where we want them. Once you got them about the general area where you want them, I like to just run my hands through it again to get any more of those loose hairs. Smooth out any that are not that smooth. You can use a little bit more serum if you need to. I've got this little wild baby curl here. I'm like, get in here with your friends. You don't need to just stick up. There we go. That's okay, I think. I like to tuck mine behind my ear on this side. You don't have to, but that's just how I do it. There we go. And then once you're kind of happy with the placement of everything, take some hairspray and just kind of give it some. It doesn't have to be a ton, but I find that doing this creates like a meshing over everything, so it's still soft inside, but this just helps to give it a little bit of resistance. Like, let's say you go outside and it's windy, you don't want all this to just go everywhere, and so doing that helps it kind of keep its place a little bit. The more you put, of course, the more stiff it'll become. So like, I just do a little bit so that it kind of just gets little tacky bonds around, and it helps a little bit, but you can brush it out. Don't brush this. If you brush this, you're going to pull your curls right out. But that is how you use your curl formers correctly to get good looking curls that are actually curly. So now it's your turn. Go give it a try and let me know, how does this work for you?